Have you ever felt it? That profound, almost shocking feeling that you've met someone on a level that transcends time and space? As if behind the very first conversation, there were already entire lifetimes of intimacy just waiting to be awakened. The revolutionary psychologist Carl Jung completely changed our understanding of relationships, revealing that some connections operate on layers so deep, your conscious mind can barely register them. But here is the secret that most people will live their entire lives without ever understanding, condemning them to a cycle of superficial connections. The true soulmate is not the person who completes you. The powerful truth is that they are the one who awakens in you the divine ability to become complete. Jung discovered that certain souls recognize each other not because they are identical, but because they carry the complementary pieces of a cosmic puzzle that only makes sense when finally united. Before we dive into these secrets, I want to know just how far this wisdom is reaching. Please, take a second and tell me in the comments, what city or country are you watching from? It is truly inspiring to see how Jung's teachings are helping people connect all across the globe. In this video, you will discover the 13 unmistakable signs that Jung identified as undeniable evidence that you have found your true soulmate. To ignore these signs is to risk losing the one chance you have to live the kind of love that transforms not just your life, but your very soul. There is a vast, painful difference between simply being in love and recognizing a soul that came into this world destined to walk beside you. So watch carefully, because this knowledge will determine whether you continue to live a life of shallow connections or finally experience the sacred union the ancients spoke of. For Jung, a soulmate goes far beyond popular romance. It is a fundamental alignment of archetypes in our collective unconscious, creating a harmony that resonates to your core. He described 3 levels of connection: the persona, which is your social mask, the ego, your conscious identity, and the self, your authentic, transcendent core. Your soulmate connects directly with yourself, recognizing the eternal essence in one another. This connection often involves the projection of the anima or animus, where you finally see before you the external manifestation of your deepest archetypal images of the sacred feminine or masculine. If this is the kind of depth you are searching for, I need you to do something important. An incredible number of people who watch our videos are not subscribed to the channel. If you want to continue on this journey and not miss out on these life-changing truths, take 1 second to hit that subscribe button, like this video, to help this knowledge reach others who need it, and prepare to have your perception of love transformed forever. There are 2 types of projection. The positive, where we idealize qualities we wish to develop, such as admiring the other's confidence, which reflects our dormant potential, and the negative, where we reject aspects that mirror our denied shadow. The crucial difference is between healthy archetypal projection and destructive neurotic projection. In the neurotic one, we idealize the other to supply personal needs. Authentic soulmates go through a process of withdrawing projections, dissolving illusions, and allowing genuine love to emerge, loving the real person, not an idealized version. The soulmate does not mean the absence of conflict. On the contrary, they challenge each other, activating the shadows to promote spiritual growth. The true soulmate catalyzes your individuation. She doesn't complete you, but awakens your ability to complete yourself. To identify projections, ask yourself, what do I admire in this person? Investigate if that quality exists in you. Another sign is the compulsive need for the other to be a certain way. The soulmate brings deep acceptance for what the other is, without demanding changes. According to analytical psychology, individuation as the central process of human life, the journey of becoming truly unique, integrating all the fragmented aspects of the psyche into a coherent whole. And he discovered something fascinating. Certain people enter our lives specifically to accelerate this process of internal development. The true soulmate is not someone who makes your life easier. It is someone who makes your life truer. She appears as a living mirror that reflects not only who you are, but who you have the potential to become. This can be simultaneously inspiring and uncomfortable. During individuation, we need to integrate our shadow, all the aspects of ourselves that we have learned to reject or hide. A soulmate often activates this shadow in ways we cannot ignore. If you have always prided yourself on being rational, she may awaken your repressed emotionality. If you identify as independent, she may reveal your hidden need for connection. Jung observed that this process of mutual activation of the shadow is essential for mature relationships. Couples who avoid awakening challenging aspects in each other often stagnate in comfort zones that impede real growth. A soulmate comes with the courage and responsibility to stimulate conscious evolution. Another crucial aspect of individuation is developing our inferior function, the one we least master among thinking, feeling, sensation, and intuition. The soulmate often embodies this function that we need to develop. If you are predominantly intuitive, you may be attracted to someone who teaches you about sensation and bodily presence. Soulmate love also catalyzes what Jung called the transcendence of the ego, moments where your fixed identity temporarily dissolves, allowing broader aspects of your personality to emerge. This can happen during physical intimacy, deep conversations, or simply in each other's silent presence. Jung understood that individuation is a process that never completely ends, and a soulmate is someone willing to grow with you over decades. It is not someone who falls in love with who you are now, but someone who is committed to who you both can become through the shared journey of conscious awakening. The difference between soulmate love and neurotic attachment can be subtle, but Jung identified clear criteria to distinguish them. Attachment is born from need. You need the person to feel complete, validated, or secure. A soulmate is born from abundance. You choose the person because you recognize something transcendent in them. In attachment, there is often an obsessive quality. You think about the person compulsively, feel anxiety when they are not available, interpret every gesture looking for signs of rejection or approval. A soulmate comes with an underlying peace. Even in intensity, there is a deep trust in the connection. Attachment often involves extreme idealization. You cannot see flaws in the person, or you minimize problematic aspects because you need to maintain the fantasy. With a soulmate, you see their imperfections clearly and still feel the deep recognition. Another criterion is the relationship with your own life. Attachment often makes you neglect other important aspects: friendships, career, personal growth. A soulmate, paradoxically, inspires you to become more dedicated to your own development and purpose. The quality of communication also reveals the difference in attachment. There are often psychological games, subtle manipulation, fear of being totally honest. With a soulmate, an ability for authentic vulnerability quickly develops, without fear of judgment. Finally, Jung noted that attachment generates stagnation. You stop growing because you have found your emotional comfort zone. A soulmate generates expansion. You feel constantly stimulated to evolve, explore new aspects of yourself, become more than you were before. And now let's understand each of the 13 signs that Jung identified as evidence that you have found your true soulmate. The first sign is a feeling of familiarity that transcends linear time. Jung called this archetypal recollection. When two souls recognize each other on a level that completely bypasses conscious experience. It's not just comfort with someone new. It is a strange certainty that you have walked together before. This familiarity manifests itself in specific ways. You have only known each other for a few days, but you can predict each other's reactions with surprising accuracy. There are inside jokes that arise naturally as if they were continuations of old conversations. You find yourself talking to her in the same way you would talk to someone you've been intimate with for years. Jung explained that this happens because soulmates often share similar archetypal patterns, universal ways of processing experience that exist in the collective unconscious. It is as if you speak the same language of the soul. Even if your conscious personalities are different, there is also a quality of absence of surprise when you discover deep compatibilities. Instead of being shocked by similarities, there is a sense of course we like the same things, or obviously we think similarly about this. It's as if the recognition confirms something they already knew unconsciously. This sign is distinguished from simple compatibility because it includes a strange temporal dimension, as if you were resuming something interrupted, not starting something new. Jung discovered that soulmates often demonstrate unconscious mirroring, automatic imitation of gestures, expressions, and even breathing patterns that happens without conscious perception. This goes far beyond normal mirror neurons. It is a synchronization that suggests connection at deep levels of the psyche. Observe if you automatically assume similar postures when you are talking. If one crosses their legs, the other does the same. Seconds later. Then if she tilts her head in a certain way, you find yourself making the identical movement. This happens regardless of who is leading. Both mutually mirror unconsciously. Mirroring also manifests itself in language. You start using similar expressions, develop a shared vocabulary, adopt each other's speech patterns without realizing it. Friends may comment that you talk exactly the same, even after a short time of living together. Jung observed that this mirroring indicates a synchronization of fundamental psychic rhythms. It is not conscious imitation, but an automatic harmonization that suggests that your consciousnesses operate on compatible frequencies. It is as if they were two instruments naturally tuned to the same key. There is also emotional mirroring, when one feels inexplicable sadness and discovers that the other was going through difficulties, even at a distance, or moments where both feel simultaneous impulses to connect, resulting in calls or messages sent at the same moment. One of the most challenging but confirmatory signs of a soulmate is the mutual activation of the shadow, those aspects of yourselves that you have learned to repress or deny. Jung understood that true soulmates not only complement each other but also confront each other in ways that promote integral growth. Perhaps you have always prided yourself on being logical and controlled, but in her presence you discovered capacities for spontaneity and emotionality that you did not know you possessed. Or she has always seen herself as independent and strong. But with you, she began to explore vulnerability and the need for care without feeling diminished. This activation of the shadow can be temporarily uncomfortable. You may be irritated by aspects of her that, in fact, reflect rejected parts of yourself. If she is too dramatic, she may be mirroring your own repressed expressiveness. If he is too sensitive, he may be reflecting your denied vulnerability. Jung observes that superficial couples avoid awakening shadows in each other, maintaining safe but limited connections. A soulmate has the courage to stimulate hidden aspects because the activation serves the growth of both. The decisive sign is that, despite the initial discomfort, you manage to integrate these shadow aspects in a constructive way. Instead of rejecting what they discover, they use these revelations to become more complete and authentic. The fourth sign is, the relationship becomes meaningful even in silence. Jung identified shared silence as one of the clearest indicators of a soulmate connection. When two people can be together without the need to fill every moment with words, it indicates synchronization at very deep levels of consciousness. Observe if you can remain silent for long periods, without discomfort. Not the tense silence of someone who doesn't know what to say, but the relaxed silence of someone who is genuinely present with each other. It's as if communication continues to happen on energetic levels, even in the absence of words. There is also a quality of telepathic communication, moments where one knows exactly what the other is thinking without anything having been verbalized. You look at each other and just know. There is mutual understanding that transcends the need for explanation. Jung understood that this shared silence indicates that you connect in what he called a common psychic space, a dimension where two consciousnesses temporarily overlap. In this space, communication happens through direct resonance, not through verbal symbols. Another aspect is that simple activities gain a meditative quality when done together. Cooking, walking, even doing household chores become contemplative experiences when there is this silent harmony. Mutual presence transforms ordinary actions into moments of transcendent connection. In sign 5, you experience synchronicities. Jung coined the term synchronicity to describe meaningful coincidences that suggest an underlying order in the apparent chaos of life. When soulmates meet, they often experience explosions of synchronicities that confirm the special nature of their connection. These synchronicities can include impossible coincidences about the past, discovering that you were in the same place at significant moments in your lives without knowing each other, or that you have family or friendship connections that created an invisible network, linking you even before you met. There are also daily synchronicities, calling each other simultaneously, discovering that you were thinking about the same thing at the same moment, receiving external messages or signs that confirm something about the relationship. Songs play at the right time, specific numbers appear repeatedly, events align in ways that seem orchestrated. Jung observes that these synchronicities are not accidental, but manifestations of an archetypal intelligence that operates through the collective unconscious. It is as if the universe conspired to confirm and support connections that serve the spiritual development of both people. The most significant aspect is that both notice and value these synchronicities. It is not just one person interpreting coincidences as signs, but both spontaneously recognizing that something special is operating in their connection. The sixth sign is that the relationship evolves with obstacles. Unlike fragile relationships that break in the face of difficulties, soulmate connections demonstrate an alchemical quality. They are strengthened through challenges. Jung observed that external obstacles often serve to reveal and solidify authentic connections. When you face problems, whether they are differences of opinion, difficult external circumstances, or family pressures, you discover that working through these difficulties brings you closer instead of separating you. Each resolved conflict creates greater intimacy and mutual understanding. There is a quality of us against the world that emerges naturally, not in a paranoid way, but with a sense that you are a team facing challenges together. Problems become opportunities to demonstrate commitment and collaborative creativity. Jung understood that a soulmate includes the ability to transform friction into growth. Moments of tension become catalysts for deeper conversations, greater honesty, or the discovery of aspects of each other that had not been revealed in easy moments. There is also a natural persistence. Both have an instinct to work through difficulties, rather than simply giving up when things get complicated. Not out of stubbornness or neurotic attachment, but because they feel that the connection is worth the effort of conscious evolution. The decisive sign is that you come out of conflicts feeling closer and understanding each other better. The seventh sign is that she inspires your best version. Jung observed that true soulmates function as mutual catalysts for the development of latent potentials. In her presence, you naturally access higher aspects of your personality, not by external pressure, but by spontaneous inspiration. Perhaps you have never been interested in art, but her passion awakens your own sleeping creativity. Or she has always been shy, but your confidence encourages her to express herself in ways she never imagined possible. This happens organically, without a conscious effort to change each other. There is a quality of mutual elevation. Both feel inspired to be more generous, courageous, creative, or compassionate, simply by being together. It is as if the presence of the other awakens qualities that existed potentially, but needed a specific stimulus to emerge. Jung understood that this happens because a soulmate recognizes and reflects our higher self, that more integrated and developed version of ourselves that represents our maximum potential. She sees who you can become, and through that recognition, you begin to become. This is distinguished from relationships where you feel pressure to improve yourself, to please the other. With a soulmate, growth happens because you want to be worthy of the special connection you share. It is inspiration, not obligation. Jung noted that in the presence of a soulmate, we often experience automatic changes in our habitual behavioral patterns, not by conscious effort, but by natural resonance with her energy. It's as if her presence activates dormant aspects of your personality. And this is sign 8. Maybe you're naturally reserved, but with her you find yourself talking openly about topics you would normally keep private. Or she is usually very analytical, but in your presence she allows herself to be more spontaneous and intuitive. These changes happen without forcing. They simply emerge naturally. There are also changes in body rhythms. Maybe you normally talk fast, but with her you automatically slow down to create more intimacy, or your sleep patterns spontaneously adjust to be synchronized. It's as if your nervous systems seek automatic harmonization. This indicates compatibility at deep archetypal levels. It's not that you are pretending to be different. It's that each other's presence allows more authentic aspects of your personalities to manifest. Friends and family may comment that you seem different when you are together, more relaxed, more cheerful, more present. This happens because a soulmate creates a psychological environment where you can let go of certain defenses and allow more genuine versions of yourselves to appear. One of the clearest signs of a soulmate connection is the spontaneous ability to be vulnerable with each other, without fear of judgment or rejection. Jung understood that this indicates archetypal trust, a deep certainty that you are safe with each other. Maybe you normally hide insecurities or weaknesses, but with her you find yourself sharing fears, doubts, and aspects of yourself that you consider unacceptable. And discovering that instead of pushing her away, this honesty creates greater intimacy. There is also no need to constantly impress. With a soulmate, you can have bad days, show imperfections, admit when you don't know something, without feeling that it threatens the connection. There is a mutual acceptance that allows you to be human with each other. Jung observes that this mutual vulnerability is possible because a soulmate sees beyond social masks directly to the essence. There is no point in pretending to be perfect because she already recognizes and loves who you really are, including your flaws. This manifests itself in small daily gestures, crying in front of her without feeling ashamed, admitting when you are afraid, asking for help without feeling that you are being weak. There is a sense of emotional home where you can rest from the demands of performing for the world. Sign 10 is that there is a shared mission or purpose. Jung observes that soulmates often recognize each other not only as personal partners, but as collaborators in some mission or purpose that transcends the individual relationship. It is as if you came into the world to create or contribute something specific that is only possible through your union. This can be something grand, a joint artistic project, humanitarian work, or an enterprise that serves the community. Or it can be something more subtle, the way you together positively influence friends and family, or how your union models a type of relationship that inspires others. There is a feeling that you are stronger together, not only emotionally, but in terms of your ability to impact the world. Ideas flow more easily when you are together. Projects that seemed impossible alone become viable as a team. Jung understood that this happens because a soulmate allows access to collective levels of the psyche where transpersonal purposes exist. When two people connect deeply, they can become channels for creative or healing energies that benefit wider communities. The specific sign is that you naturally begin to dream and plan together, not just about vacations or a house, but about how you can contribute something meaningful. There is a shared sense that your union has a purpose that goes beyond personal happiness. The 11th sign is that you would choose her again, even with the pain. This is perhaps the most definitive test of a soulmate, according to Jung. Even knowing all the difficulties, conflicts, and pains that the relationship has brought or will bring, you would choose her again without hesitation. Not out of masochism, but because you recognize that the growth through this connection is worth any suffering. There is a quality of fatalistic love, a deep acceptance that this person and this relationship are inevitable in your life. Regardless of external circumstances, even if you had to separate for practical reasons, you would carry something of this connection eternally. Jung observed that this distinguishes a soulmate from relationships based only on pleasure or convenience. A true soulmate includes a willingness to face dark aspects, work through real conflicts, grow in ways that are sometimes uncomfortable. There is also an expanded temporal perspective. You do not evaluate the relationship only by the present moments, but by the complete arc of transformation it represents in your life. Even difficult periods are seen as necessary for the development you came to experience together. The specific sign is an unshakable certainty that, given the opportunity to live your life again, you would make the same choices that led to this encounter. There is a sense that everything, including previous relationships, mistakes, sufferings, was preparation for this specific connection. The next sign is that her love is self-sufficient. Jung identified as a characteristic of a soulmate, a specific quality of love that he called self-sustaining. She loves you not for what you do for her, but for who you are. Essentially, this love persists regardless of mood, circumstances, or external changes. You realize that even when you are going through difficult phases, perhaps depressed, stressed, or simply not being your best version, her love remains constant. It does not diminish when you are not performing optimally or meeting her needs perfectly. There is an unconditional quality that does not depend on immediate reciprocity. She can be generous and caring, even numb, when you are temporarily closed off or emotionally unavailable. It is not that she is naive or permissive, but that she sees beyond temporary states to your permanent essence. Jung observed that this is possible because the soulmate operates at the level of the self, not the ego. She recognizes eternal aspects in you that transcend conscious personality or momentary mood. It is as if she sees your soul behind your masks and variable psychological states. This manifests itself in small, consistent gestures. She continues to show care, even when you are going through tensions. There is a fundamental loyalty that is not shaken by superficial conflicts. You feel that this love has a quality of permanence that transcends temporary circumstances. The last sign that Jung identified as definitive of a soulmate is the ability to maintain a psychic connection even during physical separations. It is not just longing or remembrance, but a tangible sense of continuous presence that transcends distance or time. You can be in different cities and still feel her energy, almost as if she were in the same environment. There are moments where you feel that she is thinking of you, and then you discover that she really was. Or you wake up with the feeling that something important happened to her, and then you confirm your intuition. Jung explained that this happens because soulmates develop what he called a shared psychic field, a dimension where their consciousnesses remain interconnected regardless of physical proximity. It is as if you operate on a common energetic frequency. There is also a quality of inner presence. Even when she is not physically available, you can access an internalized version of her that offers comfort, guidance, or simply emotional companionship. It is not fantasy or memory, but an active psychic presence. The specific sign is that physical absences do not interrupt the sense of connection. They may create longing, but not anxiety about the continuity of the bond. There is a deep certainty that the connection exists in dimensions that transcend physical presence, and that temporary separations do not threaten this underlying reality. Jung understood that the recognition of a soulmate is not always immediate or clear. Sometimes the recognition happens gradually, or there are elements that confuse the initial perception. If you are uncertain, there are specific ways to clarify the nature of the connection. First, observe patterns over time, rather than isolated moments. A soulmate is revealed through consistency. The signs appear repeatedly in different circumstances. If you only notice a few signs sporadically, it may be normal compatibility, not necessarily a soulmate. Jungian studies suggest paying attention to what he called bodily resonance, how your body responds in her presence over time. A soulmate usually produces a feeling of calm, expansion, or increased energy. If you frequently feel anxious, drained, or on alert, this may indicate other dynamics. Also examine your capacity for mutual growth. A soulmate stimulates evolution, not stagnation. If you feel challenged in constructive ways, this is positive. If you feel constantly criticized or diminished, this suggests other relational dynamics. Finally, trust your deep intuition, not superficial desires. Jung observed that the higher self knows when it has found its counterpart, but this wisdom can be obscured by emotional needs or social expectations. Meditation, reflective journaling, or therapy can help to access this inner clarity. One of the most crucial distinctions that Jung made was between authentic soulmate connections and more intense toxic relationships that can be mistaken for destiny. Both can involve intensity, synchronicities, and transformation, but the results are drastically different. In toxic relationships disguised as a soulmate, the intensity comes from trauma, not from recognition. The constant drama, cycles of approach, and withdrawal, emotional roller coasters that leave both exhausted. The person may awaken your shadow, but in destructive ways that create more inner fragmentation. Jung observed that toxic relationships often involve massive projection. You see in the person qualities that she does not really possess, or she represents unresolved aspects of past traumas. Obsession instead of love, need instead of choice, neurotic fusion instead of conscious union. The crucial difference is in the long term. Results. A soulmate produces greater personal integrity, expanded self-knowledge, increased ability to love others, spiritual growth. A toxic relationship produces fragmentation, emotional dependence, isolation from other important connections, psychological regression. With a soulmate, you become more yourself. With a toxic relationship, you get lost in dynamics that serve the unresolved complexes of both. The true soulmate supports your individuation, never sabotages it. If there is physical or emotional violence, consistent manipulation, isolation from other important relationships, or degradation of your self-esteem, this is not a soulmate, regardless of the intensity of the connection. A soulmate elevates, not diminishes your humanity. You have recognized your soulmate through these signs. Jung offered specific guidance for honoring and nurturing this sacred connection. First, resist the temptation to idealize her or the relationship. A soulmate does not mean perfection. It means compatibility for mutual growth through the acceptance of each other's complete humanity. Commit to what Jung called conscious work, using the connection as a catalyst for continuous personal development. This means being willing to look at the shadow aspects that emerge, communicate with radical honesty, support each other's individual growth, develop rituals or practices that honor the sacred nature of the connection, shared meditation, regular deep conversations, time dedicated to exploring meanings and synchronicities that appear in the relationship. Jung also emphasized the importance of maintaining healthy individual identities. A soulmate complements, not replaces, your relationship with yourself. As you stand here now, at the end of this journey, you hold a truth that few will ever grasp. The solution was never outside of you. Remember to continue developing your own sacred interests, your friendships, and your unique life purpose. Never take this connection for granted. It is a rare and precious gift. You must cultivate gratitude, presence, and a deep reverence for the opportunity to experience a love so profound that most only dream of it. Carl Jung's life work revealed a transformative secret. Certain connections are not accidents. They are cosmic events, portals to a spiritual awakening that doesn't just change two lives, but sends ripples of healing through generations. If you have recognized your soulmate in these signs, know that you are participating in something ancestral and sacred. A divine marriage the ancients called hieros gamos. And if you have not yet met them, trust that your journey of individuation is not a waiting period. It is the sacred preparation required to recognize them when the time is right. Jung's ultimate lesson is this: a soulmate doesn't complete you, they ignite the power within you to become complete. It is about seeing a reflection of your own divinity in the eyes of another and allowing that recognition to transform you into a powerful instrument of conscious love in the world. Now, to seal this understanding within your very soul, I want you to make a powerful declaration in the comments below. Don't just tell me what you think. Tell the universe who you are. Write either, "I have found my soulmate," or if you are on the path, declare with power, "I am preparing." If this message has resonated with you, please do not let it fade away. An incredible number of people who watch our videos have not yet subscribed. If you are one of them, I invite you to join our community of conscious creators by hitting that subscribe button now. Give this video a like to help this wisdom find others who need it, and know that our exploration into the deepest mysteries of the human mind through the timeless wisdom of Carl Jung is only just beginning. You won't want to miss what comes next.